make this quick. I'm attempting to make this a short day. I will only pick up anything that is touching or on the sidewalk. This is my solemn vow. If I see something on me, if I see something, the thing in the streets, I'm just going to keep walking. Pretty thick. I think I'm going to break that now. Breaking the valve? Yeah, technically it's that mud roof here? Man, I forgot about that stuff. Demographics, and it was saying that I got viewers from the UK, and I can't help but wonder, are they people citizens of the UK, or are they like military guys stationed in the UK? It'd be kind of cool if it was my Scottish cousins. Currently found that out. I come from a large family of cattle rustlers, apparently, or livestock rustlers. Met one of the guys, and I was like, oh, okay. So that they used to steal cattle and then run across the Scottish border to where the English couldn't come after them. And then eventually they got integrated into the UK, or into the UK, and they had to cease all of that. So they went legit. I said this plantation was in Virginia. He said that's where a lot of them sell it. I said, well, crap. Like most African Americans, you got a little bit of it. Bottom line is, you got a slave master daddy in your DNA, in your family tree. Wow, they really went all out here. I yield the sidewalk, gentlemen. Have at it. Oh, there's another one. two shits about me, do you? I love how they look at you like you're the problem. Not understanding, and after watching Supercivios, just ignorance. People who know better, they don't do better. I said I wasn't going to do that. What's my about? Wasn't paying attention. I don't even remember having an instrumental version of Lauryn Hill's The Sweetest Thing. Slow down, kids here. That does absolutely nothing. But if this is going to be such an issue, we can get a hot crossing. Here's what's going to happen. You put in the hot crossing and they're going to take like 3 months to do the survey, and they're going to say there's not enough foot traffic to justify having that hot crossing put there. We'll try to look at other options, and they won't look at other options. A painted crosswalk across there, maybe. That might be what's best. I can't say that I didn't know that we were having such a problem with it. I know. Like I said, I can't make a living, or I can't pay bills doing my civic duty and doing the right thing. I would love to be able to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and just sit there for 2 hours taking video and making sure the kids get across the street safely. Taking videos of sorry ass drivers. I would love to be sitting there pointing out things here and there, get them fixed. They didn't even take it out of the package. Wasted the energy to put that together, wrap it in plastic, put it in a bin, ship it across country. Somebody who was getting paid not a living wage grabbed it, threw it in the bag, only for it to be some guy was rummaging through his food or just looked at that and threw it right there on the ground. At least it could have gotten used. Instead, it'll be a virgin waste product in the plastic batch. Video game did this come out of? Well, I blow my nose because I got this damn fly that keeps giving me a hard time. Waterfall Caverns. game. I mean, it sounds like something that could have came out of an old Square Enix game. Making it more bearable that you have to sit here and do fetching classes. But, well, the dungeon did have some nice music to it. The dreaded water stages. I can't think of a single video game I played back in the 90s that had a great water stage. Like, they were all just awful. Metroid, all the Super Mario Brothers games. It's almost done. Be a good experiment. Let's see what happens when I don't clean the part that's technically shared between the city and the private owner. Will it just get absolutely filthy? minutes of this. Bag of tags. It does get better. There was a time where a tornado hit, and for some reason there was a giant chunk of concrete that was just sitting here for a long period of time. And the old dude was probably seeing me running and jumping over the gap. One day, there wasn't any more, there wasn't a gap. Progress in Dallas takes roughly half a decade. And it's frustrating. And a lot of times it seems unnecessary. But that's what it is. Is how we came to this agreement that homeowners were going to maintain the sidewalks. I guess back then, you know, I guess it makes sense because my house is made out of concrete, and I'm thinking to myself, why would you make this thing out of concrete and steel? And it never dawns on me that those were actually cheap materials at the time. Maybe back in the 40s, you know, concrete was just ridiculously cheap. And so you can build stuff out of it, and sidewalks back then were nothing. Then on top of that, there weren't a lot of regulations out. So you can build the sidewalk any way you want it to. There wasn't somebody telling you got to pour it this deep and you got to pour it this wide and you got to do this, that, and the other. And I imagine there was quite a bit of creativity. Like when I'm going down Park Lane and you see that one house that they put bricks down there, which is really neat. And like I was looking at on not just bikes, you need to fix something, just pull up the bricks. When you're done, put the bricks back down. With concrete, you got to sit here and jackhammer it, break up all the rebar and stuff. Then you got to have somebody haul that off and you can't use it again. Deregulate sidewalks. I'm looking at all the cracks in this stuff, and the only reason it cracks is because it can't flex. Making these suckers out of brick would make a lot of sense. And it would give Dallas a unique look. I don't know, it's just something to think about. Rather than having to replace the sidewalks every 3 years when there's rains and droughts and ground shifting, you might have something that lasts 20 years. mentality, this is the way we've always done it. It's a problem with a lot of cities. This is the way we've always done it. We don't question it. This is what works. But the truth is anybody who studies things extensively and scientifically, there are multiple things that there's multiple ways that things can work. It doesn't just have to be one way. And there's some ways that work better than others. Because it works isn't really good enough. It works now. Will it work 10,000 years from now? And my method will do that. And that's what you say. Well, my method's cheaper and lasts longer. Out. He instantly recognizes stuff. I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. I'm starting to think that some of these houses are abandoned. We had to put the sidewalk on here because of regulations, and it just stops right there. In their defense, nobody's really going down Glen Rio anyway. Alright, sir, I'm going onto your property. Let me help you clean up a little bit here. These days, man, I get the feeling I'll be doing this. Some guy come out with a shotgun looking at me. What you doing over here? I won't give him the response he likes. He might give me a buckshot attitude adjustment. But the reality is, the guy sees what you're doing. He says, yeah, I probably should have done that. People aren't completely horrible, but they're still horrible. Yeah, they'll check. I get it. Hard enough, I'd find out who composed all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game. Forgot that I had steel drum concertos on here. I just like seeing people try things that have never been tried before. Anybody tried jazz and bassoons? A few people have. Maybe one day I'll look for some bassoon rock. wonder if they broke a bottle again. No, they switched the cans. Now, do they do that for me? Or time's tough? Wait and see mode to see what happens with the empty suits policies. We're excited, but not in a good way. Did was to reveal to a lot of people who are shipping, it's like, hey, we don't have to always keep a lot of stuff on hand. So now they just purposely make things scarce. That is really damn impressive. I was not expecting that, man. I just flat out said, I said, look, man, if you think that's fixed, I mean, I said, somebody slams into this, they might wind up in that ditch. So then I didn't hear anything. And now I look over here and they put bolts in there. And I don't know, that's one of the gripes I have is like, guys, there's this weird thing going on in Dallas is, if you do it right the first time, you don't have to keep doing it again. And I don't know if they do it because they're lazy, or I don't know if they do it because they can get more money. I'm perplexed. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to keep doing it. I didn't say you don't have to do it again, I just say you don't have to keep doing it. Your customers will find new and exciting ways to break your stuff and piss you off, but at least if you do it right the first time, that's not on you. That's on them. After that is you start designing the product in a way that they can't break it. At least not in that way. So you need to talk more in your videos. It's like, maybe. Feel like I would be talking too much. But I guess I gotta have something interesting to say. I gotta be like Cory Booker, man. I gotta have 25 hours of relevance. I can't just be reading out of cookbooks and Bibles. If you stop to think about it, if you can find transcripts of Strom Thurmond's filibuster, how much of it was just empty air that made the man sound like he was representing a bunch of really big babies and toddlers. There's no reason behind our obstruction, we're just obstructing. Is that fresh? Did you whack that off? I didn't watch the whole Cory Booker speech. I know what I'm going to do because because I did it from Bernie Sanders filibuster, is somebody's going to put like some kind of slow jam music in the background, and I'll just listen to it over a week. You listen to that Bernie Sanders speech and you get endeared with Bernie Sanders. And I guess Cory Booker's making his move. The young folks are getting ready to take over. Because after Chucky bent over and took it from the Republicans, he's lost relevance and respect in a lot of people's eyes. We can't let the economy tank. Motherfucker, what do you think's happening now? You think this is all peaches and cream? Keep your head screwed on straight. Maybe you can't. Maybe, like I said, you've been in there too long. He does seem like the kind of guy who's stuck on autopilot. He's not there because he's good at what he does. He's just there. He's just there because he's been there the longest. I don't know if back in this heyday he was something to behold. Just because you're the head of some of these chambers doesn't mean that you're just an exceptionally smart guy. Gerald Ford was the Speaker of the House. Some people made, like I said, from looking at the archival footage, it made him seem like he was a dim brick. He was a brick. I don't know if that was fair to Gerald Ford. Paper was everything you wanted a president to be. He was, I can't remember, he had military experience, he was a Boy Eagle Scout, All-American football player, and he got into Congress under the common man's house, the House of Representatives, people who actually have to come down here and talk to people. Not the senators that can just go to luncheon somewhere. And as long as they speak to their rich constituents, they're firmly planted in their seat. David used to always point out, he says, when you look at cars, how many people do you see in the cars? And I never thought about it until he said it, and then I just started people watching in cars. And it was pretty crazy to me. There are a lot of wasted seats on the roads today. I bought a sedan, and I'm the only guy that's ever sat, well, maybe a couple times I've had 2 or 3 people in my car. Cars were all one-seaters. How much will that change the map? How many of these people have given the choice of reliable, quick, and easy transport would stop driving. For me, driving's no fun. It's a lot of work, because I'm not just driving for me, I'm driving for everybody else on the road. How many people are like me? It's like, you know, I wouldn't mind just every 5-10 minutes something comes by, just hop in it and go where I gotta go. I don't have to sit here and go to Discount Tire and pay for $800 for a new set of tires. I have to keep doing yearly inspections. I guess the only argument they have in your own car is you're in your own self-contained bubble away from crazy people being right next to you, but at the same time you still got crazy people driving on the road. Let's work on getting crazy people off the road. Disco. There's a guy on a horn. I think it's, I can't tell if it's Herb Alpert or I think it's Herb Alpert. I'm not gonna fight that hard for that. Alright, camera check. Making sure. Whew, okay. Is that somebody down there with a dog? You mean to tell me I actually have company over here on Webb's Chapter? What madness is this? Looks like it's an abuela walking her grand, or nieta. I can't remember. I can't remember the word for grandchildren. I think it's nietas. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm saying nieces and nephews. You know, for a while I'm sitting here learning all the words and I get it all figured out, and it's just practice. There was a time where I was sitting there reading Cervantes, and now I can barely string together a coherent sentence. The vow, I will leave that there. I grab that bad boy and I would just hack, 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 hack. Is there a way I can? Man, that was kind of fun. Reminded me of my lineman days. I don't care what anybody says. Like I said, if you play the game, the most fun position is offensive lineman, because you're not on camera and it's a free-for-all, and there's just so much shit you can get away with when you're over there. And I don't know, maybe it's just the asshole in me. I just love smearing guys. sometimes misconditioning, but I do that here anyway. And just that moment between when you hear the snap and then guys grunting. And yeah, it sounds gay, and there is some homosexual undertones to a lot of sports. As I start, I don't know if you want to call it getting woke, but as I sit there and start doing research, it makes perfect sense that sex and gender doesn't fall neatly into boxes, man. It's messy. The biology is messy. It's so messy that no two sets of eyeballs are the same. The fingerprints just randomly align themselves in such a way that everybody has a unique one. Because we're talking about protein folding, and that's so damn random. For the most part, we have two fuzzy genders. But that random protein folding likes to throw some curveballs. Hey man! Yeah! Hey! Oh, you see me? Give her my basket, but this thing is filthy. Why do I have Lady Gaga? I like Poker Face. Oh, I know what it is. There was a chiptune remix. That's usually how I find out about mainstream music, is somebody does a cover of something and then I'm scrambling to find the original. There's a lot of hatred for rap, but if it wasn't for rap, a lot of music would have just disappeared. A lot of disco and jazz. And hip-hop was kind of responsible for some of that revival. Yeah, she had one on her arm, one on her shoulder, and one in the bun in the oven. I was like, wow. And she looked miserable. Cute though. He said I can't give her this cart because it's filthy. Oh. I would have just took the two trash cans, hauled them on my back. Done it before. I'll be miserable for the rest of the day, but at least I will have fulfilled the slogan: do a good deed daily. And you think it is propaganda, but if everybody did it, the magnification power alone, it's just amazing what gets done. One man can do a lot of damage. 10,000 men can do a lot of change. Flask. What I'm trying to figure out in my head is, will China play chicken with Trump? Trump's all talk. He's got nothing to back up what he's doing. He thinks it's going to hurt worse for China than it's going to hurt worse for us. But I'm like, China purposely keeps its citizens poor to make more money for its elites. It's already proven that it does not care about its average citizen. There is kind of a understanding that if you don't make ways for the Chinese, they'll take care of most of your needs. And I guess they're banking on seeing how far they can take that social contract in China. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to blink. The other thing is, China was already ready for this. They went through Trump in 2016 and he was sanctioning them on different things. So in their minds, this is just sanctioning. And at that point, then yeah, they're built for this. I think the empty suit forgot what he had did in 2016. So the dumbass thinks they're going to blink. And they're just going to throw shade to him. Donnie, we ain't thinking about you. I have Donnie sweating. I have fake tan running down his cheeks. Why can't there be a viable alternative? You know, that no labels party's looking better and better each day. I either want to start or be a part of a political party that calls themselves Team America. So what's their platform? Together, everyone achieves more. It's about building communities. It's about everybody paying their fair share. You may not have to contribute money, but you can contribute something. Give me your time, give me your effort. Who's going to be in charge? We're all in charge. That's why it's Team America. Together, everyone achieves more. The problem is, Team America is copyrighted. So then I tried to see if anybody copyrighted Team America. Fuck yeah. No one has. Give it time. Political affiliation. I am for Team America. I need to take pictures, but this is private property. this is an opportunity for some community art. So what do you propose? I'm glad you asked, Straw Man, in my head. I want something similar to what they had on Forest Lane, where TJ had painted a mural all over the side of that one building, I guess that separates Glen Cove. It's an ugly wall showing the division between neighborhoods. And they took this and they made it a mural in honor of America's bicentennial. I love how Chapel Creek tried to change the logos to make it look like it's a nice place, but it's still a dome. Anyway, that's the political party I'm waiting for. Team America. Democratic, communist, socialist. Regulated capitalism. Oh, it's a baby bird. I have to. Yeah, we can make it. I can hear the mother kind of chirping. And again, the mother might have just kicked her out and said, this one's weak. About that episode of South Park. That would be kind of cool if that one episode was responsible for killing off the Harley Davidson brand. But it's usually more, like the guy said, my bigotry is infinitely more complicated than that. The reason that nobody wants to buy a temperamental, overpriced crotch rocket. And there are probably 5,000 plus good ones. The intro to Star Fox cannot withstand the noise of Dallas. One more load. Doing this feels like archaeology because I'm sitting here going through layers. borracho archaeology. Reminds me when I used to play video games, and you had that one enemy that they gave him a ridiculously high amount of hit damage. Not hit damage, what do you call it? Bottom line was resistance to physical attack. I guess just energy points. So you're just blasting away and it seems pointless. And then one day you hear the click, this split sound, and the guy dies. Now, it was supposed to discourage me from doing that because they had a guy like that on Zelda. The bubbles. You destroy the little bubble, and then what would happen is he would yield nothing, or just something worthless. So you put all of that effort into hitting this dude, and you didn't get anything out of it. And I take that back. I think they gave a lot of experience points. Yes, I'm talking about the second Zelda that nobody likes. I played that game to death. I think there's 2 quests, just like the other one. The other one's so hard it was just not even fun to play anymore, but I got through it. That's what an asshole looks like. See, that's the guy that one day you'll see him on the news reports, ran off into somebody looking to find into the camera on his mugshot, and he will never think that he did anything wrong. The world belongs to him. In his own mind and in his own world, he is always going to be a success. That's what's wrong with macho. Strength and unfounded confidence. Down in there, and you got all these bags of trash. Unless the pallet was somewhere else, but I do remember there being a pallet. Looks like they cleared out the encampment. Do I dare go back here, piss these people off again. Just let sleeping dogs lie. I know my long distance thing doesn't, I got a shitty long distance, but there is a green tarp looking thing over there. Bottom line is they're still back there. And I would not mind, except for, like I said, when I start seeing the trash in the canal and knowing that's a big time flood risk, that's why I don't care what they do if they kept it clean. Weed. They don't keep it clean. Might not be them. Somebody might actually be coming here, driving up. Somebody with a house, somebody who knows better, and they're just dumping their shit in the canal. What does Occam's razor say? It's just the encampment. Simplest explanation is the encampment. The encampment is the encampment is the encampment. Stupid. But what I wish they would do is they would put lights and camera in that alley. Touching the sidewalk. Oh wow, plastic razor blades. Why would you get a plastic razor blade? So, funny little product. You want to scratch, you want to cut, you want to like chip paint off of something, but you don't want to damage the metal or leave deep scratches. So they make razor blades out of plastic, and what they're primarily designed to do is to strip flaking paint off of metal surfaces, sometimes other surfaces as well. But it's when you don't want to damage the underlying structure. Now, what's the other way to do this? If it's not a tiny object, the best thing you can probably do is just go get it soda blasted. Soda blasting is fast. I don't know if it's still cheap. At one point it was environmentally friendly. Soda blasting is the gentler alternative to sandblasting. So it's what you think it is. I know what I said, but you know, it's the dead, man. The dead can't clean up after themselves. They're not bothered by petty things like that. Anyway, soda blasting. You take baking soda, run it through a high pressure, run it through a high pressure tube, and whatever it hits, man, it just strips it off. But because it's baking soda, it's not heavy enough to deeply scratch the surface of whatever you're getting ready to paint. They say it's environmentally friendly. The problem is that just about anything in excess can cause environmental damage. Sodium bicarbonate. You get both sodium and carbon in the environment. What could potentially happen, it mixes with water, sunlight hits it, it starts turning into lye, sodium hydroxide. Baby. somebody's live birth record, or a form to fill it out. And if I'm reading this right, it was a kid in high school. But the traffic will not rob me of my woolly hutch. The actual form. Oh crap. I think I know who this is. I know this guy. We got another kid. Yeah, 15 years. Well, welcome to the crazy. Ilani, Carolina, Moron Lopez. I hope you got a good team raising you. That your birth certificate is sitting out here in the open for me to read says probably not. You know what it could be is they got kicked out of their house. is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That is the principle of right-of-way. Now, in the old serfdom days, feudalism, that meant something different. I would, if he was of a higher social standing, of course I'd give up the road to him. But in a country that's supposedly everybody's equals, the noble thing to do is to yield. That's what a lot of people haven't learned. A lot of people who make a lot of money, they declare themselves new lords in a land where everyone is equal. Yeah, go for it. What's that?
They need to fix the sidewalks.
Yes, they do.
I know it's hard for you to walk like that. And that's why I'm out in the middle of the street half the time. Just because not just is it easier, but it's safer. If something were to happen towards me and there was 3 or 4 big bumps in the road and a car was flying off the road, I couldn't go anywhere. I'd be stuck. But in the middle of the road, on the side road, on the right side or the left, I have 2 exits.
Yeah.
So if something happens coming towards me, I could jump left or right.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it, man.
People think that I'm running in
No. I do it too. And you're doing it the right way. Is like you go against the traffic. I just wish you had something reflective. Actually, I wish you didn't have to walk on the dang street.
Well, we're going against the traffic is actually a lot safer than going with the traffic because 90% of the time, if a car hits you, they're going to hit you in front, coming from the front area, instead of the back.
Well, not only
that, if it hit you from the back side, you wouldn't even see it coming though. So
right.
It's a lot safer to go with towards traffic.
Right, and that's what the Texas code says anyway. The Texas pedestrian code says that you're supposed to walk against the traffic, wear something reflective, and they're supposed to yield to you. But you know, it is.
Reflective jacket I put on my car in the back.
Yeah, good thing.
God bless you.
You too.
My famous riddle. What's so often in life you can't do? Blues are, it's all around us and no one can see it.
Yeah. I wish I could have heard more of what he had to say. Ironically, the thing that we're talking about is the thing that was drowning out our conversation. But the other thing that cars do is kill conversation. Although you do have these weird TV shows, like all these guys started making interviews in cars. But even that is artificial because they're sitting there in a car that's being towed and then the sound is being controlled in such a way, but it's not a real conversation in a real car in real traffic. It's a simulation because cars are loud and the environment is chaotic and there's no way in hell that Jerry Seinfeld, while gripping the wheel of his car, is going to sit there and have a conversation with somebody and not be sitting there saying, whoa, wait a minute, this guy cut in front of me. That never happens. I was like, what road are they on? So, anyway. I think they're watching my channel. There's a lot of homeless guys watching the channel. Sure, why not? What was my earlier statement? People aren't completely lousy or sorry or lousy but they are sorry. Postal trucks in this neighborhood look raggedy. different. But I never said anything in the past because I just wanted to listen. You see, that's the other thing about Team America. We're listening. What's Team America's policy? What do you want it to be? We're listening. What is it you need? And maybe once we get past that hurdle, what is it you want? Everybody's an idealist. The reality is I'm always going to be dealing with somebody's ego and damage. On the skateboard. But even he was saying it. He was like, dude, the reason I'm pushing the shopping cart is because look at all the stuff you have to do. And I was like, I get it. I totally get it. And I imagine you're in a wheelchair or you're a walker. I guess people don't have crutches anymore. But I'm seen as the stupid one. He's seen as the crazy person. Why are you in our sacred street? Because for you to have your sacred street, I gotta live like a second-class citizen. On second-class transport. For is an asphalt patch, and all we get is limp dick excuses from Public Works. We didn't see it, it doesn't look that bad, we're going to send it over to Port Enforcement. There was something else going on at the time, we couldn't do it. But you let there be a big pothole or a crack in the street, that guy? I think gets around. He's all up and down this street. It seems like he's always high. Anyway, he's headed toward the alley. Is way over into the goddamn intersection, and it's a cop. That's the thing that gets to me, man. The DPT already has a respect problem, and then they do shit like that. Yeah. Looking at the news, and these dudes have been lit. They let a shooting suspect get away, and then he goes somewhere else and and shoot somebody else. Not a good look. Like sometimes I swear that DPD is like something out of the they're like the police force in Police Squad, only in a more tragic way. Asshole. Fucking mouth breather. That bitch is still over there. Alright. Still got the learner's permit. All of that is she was making a right turn. Well, at least they broke it evenly. Boy, the trash gravity got really high. So they're already starting to sell the new Superman movie t-shirts. Oh man. Just not noticed that dumpster over there. Filled to the brim. When did we start? 5:30. 17:30. When will we finish? We're lucky, 19:30. So just keeping up with just cleaning the sidewalk, and that's what I'm gonna do from now on. I'm just gonna clean the sidewalks. Reading that right, basically they're saying, do you worry that your drinking brings out another person? Kind of weird, isn't it? Got me thinking like Jonathan Swift now. Curious case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They want to say it loud and proud. No parking. Ever. Anytime. Anywhere. In any way. No parking. Either that or they're outlawing the letter P. Which, you know what, it's time. P's have no place in modern society. It's time to get rid of that welfare letter. I was gonna give him my sunglasses, but he needs them. But he never turned around, so you know. Opportunity missed, I guess. Oh, there's two people. Alright. Well, it tells me that the terrorists are having an effect. Alright, what we got here? We got a healthy girl. That looks like my cousin. What was this at? These, like I said, the pictures are sitting here. I guess that relationship is over. Faded pictures. They're not in the broken glass. They're on a dirty sidewalk. CK 1500. A sensible mid-sized truck that they no longer make. I think it's a variation on a Silverado. Alright, I can turn this down now. Smell the French fries. There's two smells that, like, that's the product that sells itself. Is that when you just want to bring in sales? Although that French fries and the other thing was popcorn when I worked at concessions. You'd always make the popcorn like 30 minutes before the event let out. That way when people smelled it, they'd grab it back before going home. And French fries. No, not together. Just cooking something in oil. That sweet smell. Stumbled into some kind of synth wave. It's probably a long track. I could have used this about an hour ago. Instead, I got the good stuff. Jesus Christ. I guess I'm taking this with me. That's okay. I bet you, like I said, I'm to blame for this. People were watching the video and they saw this, they saw nobody would do anything, and so now I'm looking over here and they just come by and dump their trash. Although, like I said before, I'll see the guy.
Sir, you have $3, sir?
Huh?
You have $3?
I have nothing. I mean, I got a bunch of trash. I don't carry any cash with me. Sorry, dude. It's weird how oddly specific he was. Like just $3, not $20, not, you know, $3. And it gives you pause because you're thinking, okay, well, maybe he's not using it for drugs. Maybe he just wants to get something to eat and it costs us, and he needs $3 short. But the reality is, he tells everybody $3. It seems so scripted. Actually, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the one where he just comes out and asks and tells me a sob story. I'm trying to get to St. Louis, or I'm trying to. My daughter's in the hospital, and I'm trying to get out there to see her. And I'm ran out of gas, so if you can help me out with a few bucks. And then the person has the gas can in their hand. I haven't seen that one in a while. These guys, they just flat out ask. They say, hey man, give me some money. Whatever you got. And I don't carry any cash. Mostly because I just think I'm going around the corner. I'm not going to be needing it, and I guess I need to stop doing that. You never know what might happen, and then all of a sudden you look like the guy who's begging for change. I dress like a bum. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. I was like, how many bums have cameras? The answer might surprise you, Chief. Maybe they think they're fake cameras. That could catch on. Give homeless people fake cameras and just see how people react. Although I guess some project would be just to give them real cameras. Give them real cameras and see how people react to the homeless who don't have cameras versus the homeless that do have cameras. Because law enforcement is rough on them. Are people more generous? People watch what they say. Because that's the weird effect that happens when I'm driving. Is cameras not only help you out when you get into an accident, they prevent accidents. Because the strangest thing happens is, I think that the camera's tiny and nobody can see it, but there are people who are just like laser focused on my cameras. They see it in the windshield and they say, oh, I better slow up a little bit. Oh, I better not try to pass this guy and swipe him. Even scams change. You got to get out of your car for something, somebody comes up and they look at you, or they drive up to you. And the scam goes off the rails, like their buddy, like, hey, circle the car around, there's something fishy about this. Man, my throat's getting sore. I'm talking too much. I don't usually talk. Like I said, I just listen. And I read. And I absorb it all. I'm the angry sponge. I wonder if sponges are angry. I don't think they have nerve tissue. Sponge might be the most calm animal out there. You never know. Then again, one day they find a way to stalk the sponges, and the son says, people think I'm a calm animal, but I'm filled with inner rage. The Anger of the Sponge. Sounds like a good name for a comic book. The Angry Sponge. Sounds like something that Slave Labor Graphics would have had. Before there was SpongeBob, there was the Angry Sponge. Before there was an Invader Sim, there was Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Now I'll watch Hell of a Boss, and I get kind of depressed because I realize that Richard Horvitz is in his early 60s. The guy you grew up watching probably won't be around. You never know, you know? Thanks for giving me that room. I guess it's following me home. Pretty pitbull. It looks lost. Man, I do not want. No, man. What? No, I'm just putting the thing down here, picking up some trash. God, you're a skittish one, aren't you? And yet you're still following me. He says, this guy's gonna give me something. I was like, no, not really. Red flags. You got bored with me. Most people usually do. Ah, crap. I guess I'll be waiting for animal control. Yeah, from now on, I'm just gonna, if it's on the sidewalk, that's what I'm gonna grab. Everything else, fuck all. 2 hours on the dot. So just 2 hours of picking it up off the sidewalk, and I have one bag. So yeah, they did the laziest thing possible. They just leaned that shit up there. So I don't know what's going to keep it from blowing back and hitting somebody. That's heavy. I've been listening to this song since the 90s. It was Earth, Wind & Fire's one of their last albums. It's called, what was it called, Millennium? It had some hits on there. There was one called Chicago Blues. Just a couple of interludes. One of the songs was featured in Blank Man. Anyway.